Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this dress. So guys, the first thing I did here is just to draft a pattern of my skirt, right? So this is what the pattern looks like. So this is my skirt pattern. So I didn't draft the back, right? Because I figured I could use the front to draft the back also. So all I did here is just my hip measurement divided by 4, marked it here, plus 1 inch of sewing allowance, and then I marked my waist to my hip measurement at 10, and then put in my darts, which stops at like 2 inches before the hip line, which is at 8 inches. So the length of my dart is 8 inches. I subtracted 1 inch from here, and then it depends on you the length you want your skirt. The reason why we are cutting this is because we need to slit it, like, so that we can be able to insert the fringe in. Because if you look at the video, you will see that the fringe is not straight, is asymmetrical. So I need to cut it. It goes from almost on top of her hip on one side and goes towards the other end. So now I'm going to cut it, and then I'll show you guys how to do it on your skirt. So this is the fabric I'm using for my skirt. As you can see, I've already cut the pattern I need here. So what I have here is the hip divided by 4 plus 1 inch of sewing for the front pattern, and then the same width but extra 1.5 for my zipper for the skirt, right? And the length I have here is actually the length I want my skirt to be, right? The length I want plus seam allowance and all, but I added about extra 1.5 here for the slanting. So now I'm going to go ahead and take this out, open it up. It depends on you which side you want the higher one to be. So let's say I decide to use, because this would be my right and this would be my left. So let's say I decide to go for my right side now, and then I'm going to come down, let's say 4 inches from my waist. Let's see, I can go 4 inches from my waist here, and then I can stop just directly where my hip line is, right? And then all I have to do is just to take my ruler. You don't have to do your hip. You can even bring it down maybe 1 inch after your hip line, right guys? You can do this here, 1 inch after your hip. So guys, this is it here. So all I have to do is just to go ahead from this point. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So guys, you see, as I've cut this now, the next thing I'm going to do is to slice open this back here, right? For this skirt, the part that will have the zip, this is my front panel, this is the back. And then one thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and join the back together, like using that 1 inch I left here. Now I'm going to use that 1 inch to go in now and sew it close, right? I'm going to sew it all the way up, but I might not get to the waist, so I'm going to close this up now. So guys, now that I've closed it up, you see what I did here? I've sewn this here so that I have the room for my zipper. But the reason for this is just so that when I place this front here, the fabric can be equal, right? Because if I cut it on a fold, then I will not be able to get the sides that I need, and also I won't get the width like that. And if I don't sew this close, that back panel close, then the back would have come out like an extra 1 inch on both sides. So you need to close it up how the skirt would normally be, like how the skirt would be by the time you're done. So I'm going to just go ahead now and place this here. Make sure you place it at the center. This one, place it here at the beginning of the skirt. Like I said, I added extra inches to this so that I can use it as the room in between here, because you know when you're cutting this, you need half an inch at the top and half an inch at the bottom to join it together. So now I'm going to make sure to put this one here, and then I'm going to take the bottom part also and put it down here. So now that extra, like I said, my skirt, this pattern here, when I was cutting it, I added my seam allowance to fold the edge and all the seam allowance I need. So this seam allowance you're seeing here now is just for me to be able to use half an inch on this side of this skirt and half an inch on this side of this skirt, right? So that I can use that to put the two of them together after I've put the fringe in between. So now I'm going to go ahead and pin this down. So guys, this is what I was trying to explain here. So you see, I've placed it here, and then you see what I did. I took my ruler and then I made this line here to split this 1 inch in between, so that half of it is going to the lower one, half of it is going to the upper one. If you guys can see the line, you see the line in between here. So I made sure that the lines are that I place this skirt properly. You see, I use this ruler here to make sure that my dart is still on the same line, right? Just make sure that everything is equal, because you don't want this one to be moving this direction and the bottom of the skirt is moving the other direction. If you do that, you're going to make mistake. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and split this into two, right? And then as you can see, I've already made the straps I'm going to be using. Guys, you can make yours as long as you want. So I'm going to be placing them this way when I'm done. So I'm going to be sewing it to the bottom one. So if you want, you can make all of them the same length. If you want, you can make it different lengths. Anything you want, you can do with them. So what I'm going to do first is just for me to cut this out. So, and guys, another thing you can do is that, say, is instead of shaping the skirt and then putting the fringe, one thing you can do is split it into two, put in your fringe, sew it back again, and then you have your fabric straight like that, and then you go in and drafting your skirt pattern. Anyone that works for you. But if you want, you can just follow this already made pattern here and chip off all the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and cut mine now and chip off the sides using this pattern the way it is. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and added the fringe here. I just sewed it down here, and so the next thing I have to do is just to put this one this way and then sew it close just like that, right? Guys, one thing you have to do is that you can do more of this fringe. Mine is 10 in front, 10 at the back, but you can do more if you have enough fabric to do that. So, and make sure you leave 1 inch at the end for your seam allowance to sew the side close, right? Because remember, you can't start at the very end, because you still need to close up the side of your skirt. That's to join it to the back. So I skipped almost 2 inches at the end before I even started, right? So now let me show you guys something. So this one here, you see my pattern. If I place it now, you see what it looks like. Because what I'm trying to explain is that my dart here is going to go down. One of my darts stops just on this upper fabric, but the second dart goes into this lower one. The tail of my dart is still on this second part of the skirt. So what I did is that I made sure that the space where that dart is going to continue, I didn't put any strap there, because imagine if it's on top of this strap, there's no way I can pick that dart. So now I'm going to go ahead and join the top to the bottom. Do the same thing on the back. Remember, your back is also supposed to have a dart, and once you do that, you close up the side and fold the edge of the skirt. So guys, this is it here. So as you can see, this is what it looks like at the moment. Guys, like I said, you can always move this around and make it what you want it to look like, right? So this is what mine looks like at the moment, and then this is the back also. So you see, I left room for my zipper, because my zip is still going to be coming in here from the upper part, which is the dress part, and I've gone ahead and folded the ends of the skirt. So now I'm going to set this aside, and then we'll move over to the top and the sleeve. So guys, for the top, all I did is to place my tape here and mark. My top is going to start at 6. My armhole divider